Hello and welcome to Business Today Television. I am Siddharth Zarabi and you're watching Easynomics. On the show today, we have a slightly unusual topic away from the macro data specific developments in corporate India that we normally bring to you. We'll focus on an issue which concerns our health. And this is to do with the smog, the smoke from farm fires that's been choking much of North India, particularly Delhi, where I am living, and impacts millions and millions of people, the old and the young in particular. And for that, we are joined today by Punit Renjen, the Deputy Chair of SAP and Global CEO Emeritus of Deloitte. Deloitte and SAP have been working on a plan to help reduce farm fires, working with farmers and other stakeholders in this entire exercise. Puneet, welcome to the show. So glad to have you with us today. What are you up to when it comes to stubble burning in states like Punjab and Haryana, among others?
Well, it's great to be with you, Siddharth, and really interested in talking about this topic. If you happen to be in Delhi right now, you are experiencing horrendous air quality, and the air quality issues, about 25 to 30% of them, are because of the fires that are burnt in Punjab, Haryana, and UP. Farmers burning the paddy crop residue. And so there are 80,000 fire incidents in these three states. 13 million tons of stubble is burned. 19 million tons of carbon dioxide and other harmful gases that go into the atmosphere. And this is the important statistic. 15 million adjusted life years are lost. That is the equivalent of 2 lakh people, 2 lakh people dying each year. And there's $300 million worth of lost revenue for the farmers. So it is a big issue from a health standpoint, from a farmer income standpoint, and of course from the air quality standpoint that you all are experiencing in northern India, in Delhi in particular. And
Absolutely, Puneet. In fact, I am based in Delhi, and I can tell you, and millions of people in these parts would agree with what you have said, describing the situation and how serious it is. Now, when we were setting up this conversation, I realized that both Deloitte and SAP are involved in this. Take our viewers through what exactly is being done to help reduce this and mitigate the consequences.
Well, about 3 years ago, my mother lives in northern India, in Haryana. 3 years ago, I visited her in October, actually 4 years ago, and experienced firsthand the air quality issues. And I asked myself the question, what is behind it? And quickly came to the realization that this is a solvable problem. It is a solvable problem. It requires collective will and focus to solve it. So about 3 years ago, we started with the government of Haryana a pilot project in Karnal district. And Karnal district is one of the areas which contributes to the stubble burning. And we found that we could, through the program that I'll walk you through, reduce the incidences of fire by 65%. Last year and this year, we have expanded it now to 660 villages in Haryana, 91% of active fires, 9 districts, including Ambala, Karnal, of course, and so far, nearly 60% reduction in fire incidents. We're also working with the state of Punjab, which has the most incidents, in the district of Patiala. And through these last 2-3 years, we have proven that a collaborative effort between the government, businesses, and other non-governmental agencies working with the farmers, you can solve the problem. The program is actually a 5-step program. There are 5 things that we effectively do. The first is communication and engagement. And we've used various means from WhatsApp to jingles to actual communication with farmers, using community leaders to get the message out. The second is technology. We've developed an app, the Krishi Yantra Sati, which in very simple terms is like the Uber app, if you will. Like you order your transportation. This app allows farmers to schedule machinery, equipment, links them with end users like gaushalas and big energy plants. So this app is absolutely critical. The technology behind it is absolutely critical to getting this done. The third is orchestration. We have teams of our professionals in these districts orchestrating the program, working with the government of Haryana, which, by the way, has done a great job working collaboratively with us. The fourth, and this is important, is the ecosystem that we built around equipment providers to end-use users, the gaushalas, the big energy plants, etc. Balers, superseders, etc. are very expensive. Farmers can't afford them. So we've got equipment manufacturers. And then the last one is leveraging the government and leveraging CSR funds from other businesses. They can adopt districts. So the government, for instance, has the Prime Minister's Fasal Bima Yojana, and we're leveraging that. So these 5 steps or the 5 programmatic elements are what the program is all about. And it has led to, as I said, nearly a 60% reduction. 1.5 lakh partners are now on the app. 3,900 equipment providers are on the app. As I've said, it is a solvable problem. It is a solvable problem. Next year, my hope is that we will cover all of Haryana, and hopefully we can cover all of Punjab and UP, and we can lick this problem.
Okay, I have several follow-up questions from this, and I'm going to try and run through them quickly. First up, there's a lot of commentary which says that this is a problem where there is a lack of trust amongst all the people, especially the farmer and the government of the day. And then this has also become a political issue. I want to ask you, what's your experience of dealing with the farmers? Are they willing to step up and change their practices so that public health will not be harmed?
Let's look at data. Data is very important. If 1.5 lakh farmers are prepared to get onto the app and 3,900 equipment providers, that answers your question. Farmers, when you explain the situation to them and you provide the added income of selling the stubble, the issue really, Siddharth, is that there is a matter of weeks between the time that they harvest the paddy crop and they have to plant the winter crop. And within that period of time, we have to schedule the equipment, carry out the baling and the collection of the stubble, and then selling it. A very easy solution is a 1 cent match just to light it. And that has been the case. But when you explain to the farmer that this can be accomplished, it adds income to them. It doesn't degrade the quality of the soil. They are intelligent individuals. They get on and get on with the program. 1.5 lakh farmers, as I said, are already on the app.
Clearly, there is a lot of road that is still left to be covered. What about authorities, the government, the district level authorities? What is their response to this initiative?
Well, again, communication and engagement is very important. The government of Haryana has been excellent working with us in the 9 districts. So it's not only at the state level, but also at the district level. And we hope that we can take that program, that engagement with the government in Punjab and in Uttar Pradesh. This benefits not only the community at large, it benefits the farmers. Now, there are issues. Certainly, we've got to get this done in a narrow window between the time that they harvest, as I said, and the time that they have to plant. And that is why technology plays a very critical role and the orchestration plays a very critical role to try and get the situation addressed.
What is the financial model of this initiative?
Well, so far the financial model is that Deloitte has stepped up and put money in, put in about $10 million of our own money. We've got other entities based in the NCR area that have employees and got them to step up and use CSR funds. But Siddharth, given the size and stature of India, the fifth largest economy in the world, soon to be the third largest economy, this is not a great expenditure given everything else that we try and do. And just think of the quality of life issues. 2 lakh people that are the equivalent to 2 lakh people that are dying each year because of air quality issues. Think about the impact that it has on tourism in October and November. Think about every business executive that is making decisions whether or not to invest in northern India. Air quality issues certainly play into that decision rubric.
Given the size of the problem, how much do you think your initiative has managed to address so far?
Well, we've been in 9 districts, so it's 91% of the active fire incidents in Haryana. And so it is a chunk of what needs to be done. But the big issue is certainly addressing it in Punjab, covering all of Haryana, and then being able to consistently reduce the fire incidents. We're at 60%. We're not at 100%. And so there is still a lot of work to be done. But what we have done over the last 2 years is that we have proven that this is a solvable problem. We have proven that when you do it the right way, you can engage the farmers, you can engage local government authorities, and you can engage businesses to chip in to address the issue. I am not going to suggest to you that this is going to be an easy problem to solve, but it is a solvable problem if we have the will, the collective will, and the focus to get it done.
When you say if we have the will, are you referring to a missing part of this puzzle?
No, what I'm referring to is that all of us, government, the farmers, the business community, other non-governmental entities have to chip in. And we have to all come together, and you've seen this when you have a large effort that you need to get done across multiple jurisdictions, it requires collective will. That is what I'm referring to.
Absolutely. And in fact, I'm glad you explained the point about the very short window in which a large amount of men and resources has to be mobilized on the ground, because this is not something that can happen only on paper. You have to practically cover every inch of farmland that would get burnt otherwise. And therefore, the scale of the response is also very clear from your answers. You know, there is also this belief that our politics comes in the way of solutions. And that's why corporate India, private businesses, global business leaders like you have time and again demonstrated that solutions can come from outside of government. What would you say to other people beyond those who you are working with in business, especially with regard to what they can do to help solve this problem?
Well, I think the most gratifying thing is the impact that we can actually see. When you reduce fire incidents by 60%, actually 58% to be precise, it's a gratifying feeling. It hasn't had this problem contributes about 25% or so, give or take, to the air quality issue. There are other issues that need to be addressed, the automobiles, diesel engines, etc. You know, the Diwali firecrackers, they all play into the air quality issue. So this is a big, big problem, but it can be solved. It is gratifying to see the impact that you can have. It is also gratifying to see that you can increase the income of farmers by implementing a program like this. This is not without challenges. the challenge that you mentioned, the short window within which you have to get the program implemented, the orchestration across all districts. I have professionals from my firms that are in each of the districts, engaging the local community, the local leaders, the panchayat leaders, and the opinion leaders within the villages to convince farmers that this is the way to go. So all of that plays into it, but it is gratifying to see the results. It is gratifying to see that 1.5 lakh farmers are now using the app.
Absolutely. One of the other thing that gets discussed in this debate, and this is a debate that happens every year in India, especially in North India, is the fact that there is something that seems to have changed with regard to farming practices. Since you have researched this issue extensively and come up with a workable solution, is there anything that has really changed fundamentally in terms of our farming practices, the farming cycle, that needs to be addressed? And I ask you this question specifically because there are some suggestions from agriculturists, experts there, that the window or the season for crop sowing and harvesting also needs to be recalibrated.
Well, Siddharth, to be frank, I'm not a agricultural expert by any stretch. I have certainly researched this issue from a programmatic standpoint. But what I do know from reading up on this and getting as smart as I possibly could on this particular issue, we do need to look at the rate at which we're using groundwater for agriculture. That is going to be the next issue that we will need to address in northern India. Groundwater tables are going down, and we will need to address that. We need to go back to more native crops like millets. I know that the Prime Minister and the others in the governments are promoting that. That is something that we must do given the ecosystem that we live in. Paddy is not, from my understanding, a native crop necessarily. So all of those things factor in, but I by no stretch am an agricultural expert. So I'm giving you a very naive view just from the readings that I've done myself. But one of the things that has piqued my interest that I may look at, because again, this is an area where my family lives, is the use of groundwater and the impact that that is having or will have, is actually having and will have in northern India. I read a piece that Indira Gandhi Airport is being impacted because of the ground levels are being impacted by the amount of groundwater that we are pulling out.
Absolutely. Lots of environmental challenges. You mentioned this point a little earlier during our conversation, and this is with regard to investors and how they see North India, particularly this region, due to this issue. Do you think it's a serious dent as far as the investment prospects of a rapidly industrializing state like Haryana and Punjab, which once upon a time used to be a leader in industry, but has slipped over the past few decades?
Let me give you a specific example. I take over as chairman in May, and in October of next year, I was planning on bringing the executive board and the supervisory board of SAP to northern India. I am now my thought process is being impacted by what the air quality situation will be in October and November. These are all, for the most part, foreigners that I will be bringing into India to introduce them to India. So if I am starting to think about whether I locate a critical meeting that promotes India in the month of October, November, December, you can imagine that that sort of thought process is going through business leaders across the board. If you are a foreign investor with an operation in Gurugram or in Delhi, and you have a set of employees like Deloitte does and like SAP does, you know that air quality issues impact the quality of life for employees. Would that impact your decision to expand operations? Possibly. So I am convinced that air quality and the impact that it has on quality of life and health factors into investment decisions that individuals make.
Absolutely, and those individuals would also extend beyond the boardroom, Punit. I know of people who sort of question their decision to work out of the north and, given a chance, would perhaps want to move to much better climates within India and not just overseas. And that's why this is a very, very serious issue. As we wind down this conversation, let me thank you. Not only on behalf of BTTV, but our viewers, because this is yet another example of a corporate leader of Indian origin giving back, being concerned about not just making profits in India, but giving back to society and solving what is a very, very serious problem over the past few years. It's increased in scale and impact. And that's why, as India grows, and as Punit Renjen explained, this is a very, very important issue which is likely to even cloud the opinion of investors with regard to this part of the country. Punit Renjan, I wish you all the very best to scale this up and to achieve complete success. Thank you very much for your time with us today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. With that, it's a wrap on this conversation. We'll see you again. Until then, goodbye.